chaos reigns in the home. It's been quite the week, as you can see here. My lights are set up. Everything's kind of a mess. I've been doing camera club talks here. I've been preparing all the year's workshops. I've been getting everything ready. A lot of coffee has been drunk. And finally, I've prepped most of my gear over on my former dining room table. Not the week I had planned. A couple of days ago, I was contacted by a lady who's the admin assistant of another photographer. They asked me to step in and run a tour that he was doing here in Istanbul in May. Sadly, he's fallen a little ill and is unable to do it. So I've agreed to step in. First course of action, I sent a plan over, what we're going to do. It was awesome, great plan. However, there's one issue. I don't have some of the images I need to promote the tour to convince the customers that I'm the right guy for the job. So me and you, me and us, we're going to go out together over the next couple of days and photograph those places. Cityscapes, iconic locations around Istanbul. The best weather for this is tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, tomorrow's looking the best day, and then Friday morning. That's the plan. And I'm probably going to film a lot of this in like POV style. You're going to see the behind the scenes. Going to cruise through the streets. We're going to be using the Pocket 3 to do that. Brilliant that I've got that. But there's one step I need to do before all of this. I need to go down to the markets today. Today is Wednesday, and pick up a new lens. Why? I have mostly tilt shift, as you know. I have a wide angle and I have a 50 and an 85mm. But I need something longer to photograph some of the iconic spots. I actually need a 100 to 400 lens. Tech is quite expensive here in Istanbul and in Turkey in general, so it's not really a long-term solution. But if I like the lens, I'll keep it. I've got trips coming up in the future where it may be useful. You're going to join me, probably, over a couple of videos. Let's get out of the house. So you can see there, busy street, there's class photo. This actual whole building here is actually a camera market. So inside of here there is actually loads of cool spaces and places for camera equipment and gear. I've already seen it. This store online is the one with the best price. It's 301, 304, Cat 3, floor free. You can see here it's all basically like this. You've basically got like shitloads of camera stores everywhere. Can't see AK anywhere. Maybe upstairs one more. There is some cool stuff in here. I mean, there's one store somewhere that I went in, came in here before. It was a store with amazing old cameras. I'll try and dig it out once I've bought this lens. I actually found it, it's just here. Let's head on in. In stock? All sorted. Let's pay a little bit more on the old tax because of foreign credit card, but we basically got it. We're sorted. Cool place there. So much stuff in here. It's nuts. So I'm kind of done there. You could probably agree it's an amazing absolute mega store of photography goodness, to be honest. It's amazing. Anything you've ever needed, it'll be in there. In terms of price, even with that 5% that I mentioned in there, I got it for like $642. So yeah, comparable with the UK, brand new. I've seen it online, $650, $670 on sale. So it's around that kind of mid-6 mark, depending on where you buy it. Of course, not second-hand. There's not really the second-hand options here in Istanbul for that kind of lens. It's fairly newish, a couple of years old, isn't it? So for cityscape photography, for landscape photography, that kind of thing, it's going to be fine. Just not got great low light performance. I'm hoping it pairs up well with the R5. I'm going to find that out tomorrow. But to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with the price, even with that 5%. But I could have picked it up for 5% less. So I could have got it in a range of like $630, something like this. So 15 quid tax, not too bad extra tax. There's a lot of tax here in Turkey, to be honest. I don't mind paying his card fee for him because they're all getting screwed over, actually, when it comes to that. So anyway, I'm going to get back on the Marmaray quick mission to get this, get it in the equipment list, get the bag packed, and then tomorrow morning we're out, leaving when the wife leaves, to get back here to this exact spot and start our journey. 2-day shooting, let's do it. Okay, it's the next day, and look what's happened. Isn't that always the case? Okay, so I've made it. Here's the mosque in the background. Call to prayer is just ending, which is good news for me. I've timed things fairly well. Now, a few tips for you. If you ever come into Istanbul, first of all, you must use an Istanbul card for cheaper prices. Seems to be this year they've decided that tourists or foreigners' credit and debit cards are not allowed to be used on the machine, so you need cash for that. And actually, you need that to get around to tap in, tap out. Now, on the Marmaray, the first train that I got, tapping out is key because you get a refund on the distance that you've done. And this year, I wouldn't ever say this before because it used to be fairly cheap, but now it's shot up in price, and that one-way refund is probably worth it because you're getting charged all the way to the end of the line, and it's 2 hours. So you don't want to do that. The next thing comes in the form of when you're coming out of metro stations. They're usually quite complicated, and the newer ones don't have the best signage, and there's never that much English around always. Sometimes there is, but not always. And also, you won't know what that area is that it's pointing to. So the best tip I can give you on that one would simply be use your GPS on your phone. On most metro stations, GPS still works. In İminönü, they're fairly deep underground, so they may not work, but there, if you come up there, most stations are going to be where you need to be, so it's irrelevant. But in all of the other areas of Istanbul, your GPS is great. Now, Mosque is clearing out and I want to get in there, but one more thing to mention before I actually do go and try and get a shot. New location, like this. This is quite difficult. When you're approaching a new subject like this, it's always challenging. You've got to overcome obstacles. So, and I know that that's going to happen in here. I'm going to walk in here with just my camera, with a wide-angle lens in my hand. No tripod. Do not do that. Of course, go in, approach it softly, and then slowly build up to maybe getting that tripod shot if that's what you're looking to do. Just see how things sit. Anyway, let's get back to POV mode. Let's get back in here. I've flipped around the Pocket 3 so that it's a bit lower in the screen. So hopefully you now see all of this. Let's go. So you can see it's cleared out quite a lot actually. I'm going to take the filter off this once we get inside. I just want to see how things are sitting, how many people are still around. Yeah, there it is. Isn't it that my shoes are a bit big for this? Hopefully we can just put them in 125. Make loads of noise while we do so. Okay. So I'm going to be fairly quiet in here, of course. There's a few people still floating about. My ideal situation would be a bit earlier than this, to be honest with you. Now, usually in mosques it's difficult for men to photograph them because women are only allowed upstairs and men aren't. Men come downstairs. So the POV, the point of view for men can be more difficult. I'm hoping the light comes back out, because if it does, then things are going to look good. 6400 ISO. I'm going to go for a 6.3, but your shutter speed has got to come up quite a lot. Of course, I'm in manual mode. You could probably get away with aperture priority. I'm going to switch, because my shutter speed is not my problem. I could actually kneel down and actually try and line something up a bit better than that I am. It's not easy, you can't get near the middle. Okay, first result seems okay. Normally here over this side you get like amazing light falling in and on the floor over here, and it looks stunning. It's very difficult without that light to actually capture what you want. So I'm just having to be patient. It keeps popping back and forth. It'd be better if I could eliminate the cluster of two people at the front here. It's better with singular people, really. Put one more idea. Wrapping up, new position. Lads are out of view. One guy praying, nice light on the floor. Nice composition, looking cool. I'm trying to get a little bit of height here just to... Yes. He's in a perfect position. I'm going to flip to portrait orientation, because this, if I do that, could be the shot of the day so far. Just a second ago, I don't know if you can see this, I knocked the tilt pin, and that meant that obviously when I was trying to focus, that was not going to work, mate. This is fine here, like so. Balance right, make sure everything's straight. Boom, the lads are moving. Wow, okay, now things are about to kick off. A step further forward. Out right a bit now, I'm just doing this shot without the boys. One, shifting up. Two, shifting down. No, it's not foolproof, of course. Be really clever now. Tilt shift as high as it can be, good position. Doesn't need quite as much as that. I can actually come further forward a little, shift up a little. Oh no, there. Okay, the crowds have started to gather again over my shoulder, so that means that I've kind of spent my time in there, and I need to get moving to the next location, which is brilliant. And actually, the sun is now completely out, as in there's no cloud definition at all. So actually today might be a result. I haven't been out photographing for some time, maybe 3 months, 2.5 months since Cyprus. And it took a bit of time to get used to it, especially handheld. And you saw there I was trying to manage balancing out, getting high ISO, making sure I had nice fast shutter speed, making sure my filming was working, and of course then framing up. Patience, as usual in architecture, worked, because in the end, everybody moved, I got my shots. Let's get back to the metro. I'm now in Üsküdar, and as you can see, the light is kind of kicking off, and I might change my plan. I know I'm flip-flopping a little bit in this video, but I've nailed that mosque. If I go over to the other mosque now, it's going to be prayer time. I'm going to have to wait about until they all leave. If the light kicks off, I can then nail or just softer light, like nice light, I can then nail one of the other shots on my list, which of course are the priority, as I said at the beginning. So I think what I'm going to do is go grab a tea or something, or coffee, and then I'm going to go down to either Kizkalisa, or I'm going to cross over into kind of the Glatter area and photograph one of those directions, which were on my list to do. There's three shots basically. They're all quite near each other. I could even pull them both off if I time the ferries right. I just ran in and actually got a charger. Bought one for Pocket 3. Sat and had some tacos, and while I had some tacos, I was able to then basically get this thing charged up a bit to be able to record this. Now walking back down, 2 more minutes, back down towards Kizkalisa, which is Maiden's Tower. When I first ever used to come down this section, there wasn't a way to walk down to Kizkalisa. It gets very busy, by the way, at sunset time, so that wasn't the initial plan. But if I can nail this, it saves me a job in the morning. See how busy it is. All the fishermen have now moved to here recent times. I used to be mostly on the bridge in Galata, but nowadays they're down here a lot more. It's a nice new fishing spot for them. So this is also quite a cool place for people photography, people stuff. So it's also a place that I'm considering bringing that tour group. All right, I'm all set up. It wasn't that easy. I mean, I've basically put my tripod in position against these barriers, and I'm aiming to get 2 shots here actually for this part. At the minute there's a lot of boats going through, but the actual tower itself is just over there in the distance. You can kind of just see it. I've gone for the new lens, the one I got yesterday, 100 to 400, and I'm trying to get a shot where there's a silhouette of a mosque in the distance, which is actually Hagia Sophia Mosque, and then actually the tower's going to be here. Then when the sun moves and goes down and there's a set, I'm going to go further that way. So I'm going to go along this walkway into the edge and then kind of cut in. The problem I've got at the minute is I'm 100 mil. There's another photographer actually just down that way, and I don't want to feel like I'm stepping on his toes. But I actually do need to come this way at least another sort of maybe, I don't know, 100 meters or so to then get a nice little bit of, use this lens to its full capabilities. I want to be about 200 mil ideally. I think that would help to get a nice bit of, really help with the water. It would help having not so much foreground interest. There's nothing there, it's just water. And of course, just isolate that tower from the background. And then it's just about timings, the boats, avoiding them and so on. I'm actually going to mount on my very old filter system. I'm doing that just for, I'm doing that just in case I need it, and I probably will, of course, but it's pretty old, and I'm trying to just mount it up. It's actually one that I got free from Benro a long time ago, many years, many moons. I've got an adapter to be able to actually put it on this lens that I bought yesterday, which is kind of cool. This is literally an ND 1000, so a full 3.0. And that's just going to help me blur out the water. And I did a quick test shot with it a second ago, and it looked really good. Just enough blur in the water, it's giving me like 2.5 seconds f11. Now, you'll see that I actually switched out my tripod head back at home for this shot. And I did that on purpose because it's easier to manage on site for this kind of photography. And I knew probably the likelihood would be that I wouldn't be allowed to shoot with my tripod in the mosques. That's usually the case when it's that busy. If I'd have gone earlier, probably would have got away with it. The tourist boat that was there is about to move, so I'm going to pop this ND filter down. The sun's going off to the right-hand side, and hopefully those two things combined get me the shot that I'm looking for. Also, the wind's nice and soft. It's not too much. The 10 stopper is just blurring out that shot. It's still 2.5 seconds. It's exactly where I want it. It's nearly off frame, the boat. And it is off frame. I'm going to shoot that. Okay, let's check this. I'm in aperture priority mode. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Backlit, looking beautiful. Really, really cool. Nice shot. I wanted to come down a bit further here to basically get a nice shot of it when the sun's dropped completely, but I'm kind of worried that boats aren't going to leave, and if they don't leave, then that shot's ruined and it's not actually ticked off. That's not what I want to do. I wanted the tower isolated without all of that clutter, you know. I'm going to see what happens, and still now ended up turning out to be quite a lovely evening, as you can see behind me. It's really nice. On this position, which I actually think is the one I want for the sun setting, because the sun's to the left now. And also I've opened up the left side of the tower, so it actually gives it a little bit of dimension. And that's kind of what you look for when you're trying to photograph exteriors like this. It just gives it a little bit of 3D perspective. It looks really nice. Everything's looking good. The problem I've got in this particular position is that with my 100mm on, I suddenly don't have much wiggle room in the space. I need the 85. But it's been quite a productive afternoon, actually. My shot, I absolutely love of this. It's all come together really well. I'm now on 15 seconds, 10 stopper. I've done the sort of shorter versions, and the 10 stopper's blurring out the water and it's looking really fantastic. The sky is kicking off dramatically and we've got no lights popping off yet in the distance, so actually things are working really, really well. Beautiful shot. The lights have just popped on the tower, literally as I was speaking. So now I'm going to just hang around for a little bit longer, shoot through this and get a couple of shots with the lights on. And if needed, I can blend them into my frame later. That's the idea. I'm going to do one where I'm actually shoving Kiz to the right, because the clouds have actually kicked off and they're sort of heading over this way. They're kind of going across the scene in this sort of manner. It's just looking fantastic now. Really. Eight seconds. Barely any boats. Beautiful sky. Light is working well. In fact, I couldn't have asked for a better result. That is absolutely amazing. I actually did not expect any of that at all to happen in this episode. In fact, all the things that I wanted to worked out. Like, for example, in the mosque, we ended up with the light we wanted. We had the guy that was there, and we also, of course, now had this shot and that sky. I mean, can we get any better results than that? That's fantastic. But we're not finished there, because we're going to have another episode doing exactly this. I'm going to go tomorrow into Iminanu area in the afternoon and the sunset. But in the morning, we're actually going to start down on another mosque in Ortaköy. And that's actually just north of where I used to live in Beşiktaş and where my exhibition was in the recent video. And actually, that's quite hard to get to from my place in Bakırköy. So we're going to start nice and early again tomorrow. And hopefully, this time, have better light, better skies. It's been a pleasure to have you along. Hope you've enjoyed some of them images, something a bit different. I hope some of this has come out and some of this has worked, especially the sound and the microphone and so on. I think you'll agree, it's quite a challenge here in Istanbul. Let's see you again tomorrow. Until next time, bye for now.
What a